Hi, my name is Erin Moriarty. Welcome to my channel. If you know me, you know I love dressing in a wide array of aesthetics, but I don't like spending a fortune on it. So today I wanted to share all of the secrets I've learned for how to save money while dressing the way you want to. Make fashion friends, especially local ones. Having people you can swap with, who you can learn skills from like alteration or crochet, and who can help you find pieces you'll love for good prices are incredibly valuable. If they're into the fashion scenes you are, they may be able to let you try on pieces or purchase them secondhand. If they're into different scenes, they can share tips on which secondhand sellers they like, where they get alterations done locally, etc. But also, follow people on social media who look like you and are interested in similar fashion scenes, especially people with similar measurements and coloration because you know the brands and styles they wear are going to fit and look the way you hope on you as well. I think everyone can relate to seeing an outfit on a model with a different body type or hair color and then being disappointed with how it looked on you once you purchased it. Get crafty. Any level of sewing or crochet or jewelry making that you can learn can help you build your wardrobe, your accessories, or your embellishments cheaper. And if you have a community of friends who are into fashion, you may be able to barter skills that you have for pieces that fill out your wardrobe. For example, if you're bad at sewing but can make beaded jewelry, you could trade bracelets for petticoats. I do recommend that you be realistic with your level of ability so you don't get disappointed. But also, if you stick with those skills, you're liable to improve your ability over time. But for example, if you're a terrible sewer, don't try to make an ornate gown, but rather stick to undergarments or skirts or accessories that you can use to fill out an ensemble. A lot of people start out by making accessories like belts and hair ties, and if you like styles that are more ornate, you can learn by making neck ruffs, collars, wrist cuffs, and similar decorations. That way, you're not only learning a skill, but you're making accessories that make a simple piece look more ornate. You can do a lot of alterations with fairly minimal sewing skills, or you can use safety pins, or I know a lot of people that have good luck with fabric glue. You can often find garments that are wildly out of style but have a lot of yardage and can be reworked. I've seen people get decent yardage out of 80s dresses that they purchase at the thrift store, or old curtains, bed sheets, shams, etc. I recommend deciding what styles you're interested in and consider what your resources are. For example, if you want to do cottagecore and you know your local thrift store has a lot of lace curtains, check YouTube and TikTok and Pinterest for making a cottagecore dress from lace curtains. Sometimes you don't really need to sew to rework it. A dress can be a top or a skirt depending on what you wear under or over top it. And don't underestimate the punch that a haphazardly draped or wrapped bit of cloth can add to an outfit. A yard of cloth can be a nice cloak, capelet, bandeau, hair tie, belt, wrist wrap, anklet, etc. just by twisting, folding, tying, and or pinning it. Don't pay full price for trendy items. Obviously, if you really want something and you don't want to miss out, buy it quickly. Or if you're an uncommon size, I recommend purchasing things quickly. But if it's not a need and you're not an uncommon size, I recommend waiting on anything that's trendy. People always buy trends and realize it's not for them, or they just get items for the duration of a trend, wear it a few times, and resell it. When cottagecore was big, a lot of people bought a garment for a couple pictures and then sold it for significantly cheaper than what they paid. And honestly, I think they still do, given the number of linen dresses I often see on secondhand markets advertised as worn once. Especially with trendy items and popular brands, it can often literally pay to wait for secondhand. Sometimes it's even on secondhand markets before the primary seller has stopped making it, so nowadays I check before I buy anything new. Convert obsolete items. There are a ton of items that we used to use in the past that can be converted. Scarf pins, hat pins, shoe buckles, they all tend to sell for cheap because they're out of fashion. They can often be broken down, refashioned, or added to other pieces in order to upcycle them. Brooches can be pendants, shoe buckles can be purse charms. If you like the way something looks, you can find a way to fit it in your outfit. See opportunity in imperfection. People will often sell stained garments or ones with holes, and often they can be cleaned or fixed in some aesthetic way. Often, I purchase a garment that has minor stains or tearing for cheaper because of this defect. Then I evaluate it. Will someone other than me notice? Can I stain treat or mend this? Honestly, sometimes I hope the answer is no, because I love the way visible mending, patches, and embroidered fixes can look. Besides, in a lot of spaces, these artistic reconstructions are really trendy. If a garment is white or light colored and you know what fiber it's made of, you can dye it. When I purchase white garments that are stained, I usually intend to tie-dye them if the stains don't come out. Stains can also be covered with embroidery, patches, appliques, or lace. Embellish plain stuff. In many aesthetics, clothing becomes more expensive when it becomes more complicated. However, you can often take a simple garment and embellish it on your own with much less skill than it requires to create a garment from scratch. Beading, embroidery, lace, trims, all of these are options for embellishing a garment that is plain. If you don't want to take that permanent of a step, layering and accessorizing plain garments can make them look more ornate and expensive. In the Victorian era, it was common for garments to have detachable collars or even sleeves so that you could switch outfits out more or make them appropriate for the season. Making or purchasing collars, sleeves, and other adornments is thus a practice you can do in modern outfits that has historical precedence as well. At thrift stores, you can often get lace tablecloths and table runners fairly cheap and use them as shawls or disassemble them to embellish a garment. I do caution you to make sure that it's soft enough to be against your skin before putting it anywhere it might rub against you, as those laces can be itchy. So before you use it as a collar or a wrist cuff, make sure, can you tolerate it against your skin at all? And when looking for sources for embellishment, don't be afraid to take apart thrifted garments that don't sell well and thus tend to be cheap. Lingerie, especially from the 80s and 90s, often sells cheap, and you can harvest lace, crystals, fringe, and other embellishments from them. Obviously, I'm talking more like nightgowns and robes than bras, but those can have some things that you could use too. Crystals especially can be expensive. Also, lace overdresses and peignoirs can go over a simple dress to make it look ornate. Lace bodysuits can go under a simple outfit to dress it up, or you can wear it under a suit to add a feminine energy to a masculine look. A few brands I like for aesthetic foundation and starter pieces. Free People. I'm going to do a full video on Free People one day because I have complicated feelings about them. I don't like paying full price for them because I feel like their commitments to human and environmental sustainability are questionable at best. However, they were really one of the first major brands that really dipped hard into aesthetic fashions that manages to both be very easy to find and suitable for numerous aesthetics. Because of that, there is a lot of it on the secondhand market, and the majority of it can be gotten reasonably priced. Several of their labels and collabs, like Ex Anna Sui and Magnolia Pearl, will always be expensive, as will their popular styles like French Courtship, but the vast majority of it can be gotten for significantly cheaper on one of the secondhand markets. I also really love that the color palettes for their pieces tend to really work well with each other, so I can just throw together an outfit of their stuff and it usually will work. They also really know how to make oversized work. They know where to exaggerate proportions and where to taper back in, which means you don't have as much fabric bunching areas like the waist. A lot of their stuff is also made with natural fibers, which is a must for any garment that I spend more than an hour or two in. I will say though, I have a few of their garments that are polyester, and their polyester is less uncomfortable to me than most. Another company I recommend is Pendleton. They're a wool clothing company that's been around since the 1880s. A lot of their stuff is wool, but a fair bit of it is from other fibers as well. They do a lot of waistcoats, blazers, and skirts. I know a lot of theater productions use their stuff, which means the secondhand market, especially for stuff that may already be worn in a bit or distressed, is huge. I also really like vintage Banana Republic and LL Bean. Again, lots of pieces available, much of it made of natural fibers. You can often get great prices. How I use Mercari, Poshmark, Depop, etc. to my advantage. First off, some sizing advice for secondhand fashion. Let me share one of the best tips I have for making sure something you purchase online will fit. If the item you're purchasing has been washed and worn, it's better to get the current garment measurements than the original size. That garment could have shrunk in the wash, been altered or stretched, etc. A lot of sellers provide measurements by default, and if not, they often will if they're requested. I recommend finding garments that you already own and know fit well that are similar to the fit and material of the item you're trying to purchase. So obviously, don't measure leggings if you're looking to purchase corduroy pants. But find something that you own that's similar and fits well, lay that garment flat, and measure it. Then use those measurements to find a garment that is a similar size online, and assuming you don't shrink it and everyone measured accurately, it should be a pretty close fit. Don't be afraid to use the features on secondhand apps. First off, just look for a while. Get an idea what things you like and what they usually cost. Find brands that you like. See how often pieces are going on the market in that brand, what they sell for, etc. I personally find the game of finding unique pieces for cheap very fun, and if you can develop a similar mindset, you can kind of gamify deal hunting for yourself. I also recommend searching all of the major apps for your geographic region. I'm in the US, and right now I regularly check Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, and Depop. You don't have to do all of them constantly, just figure out which market tends to have the things you like for the best prices. Pay very close attention to pictures. Make sure that the pictures are of the item for sale and that the seller isn't using pics from the manufacturer's website for something that's been worn 50 times. I also really like to take advantage of the like and follow options, especially on Poshmark. If you like items you're interested in, the seller will often give you a special deal or add a discount. A lot of sellers increase their discount as time passes if the item doesn't sell. Don't be afraid to put in an offer, especially if something has been in a seller's store for a while. Most secondhand shops have a history that shows you when a seller put up an item for sale and sometimes whether the price has been dropped or not. I like following people who sell pieces in my size and style for good prices so I can find out super quickly when they have something new that I might be interested in. Not all sellers are looking to make a big profit. Many just want to get something back for what they've spent, and if you can find and follow those people, it can give you a leg up on people who are just looking for cheap stuff to try and resell it for more. I've noticed that statement pieces that are big, brightly colored, or have really busy designs can be really hard for secondhand sellers to move, which is great for me because I love that stuff. Whenever I'm getting something from a posher, I'll look around to see if they have any older stuff that they may be having a hard time moving, and I will often add that to a bundle and ask for a discount, because a lot of times people are really happy to get rid of it. I try to avoid buying a single item from a seller because often it ends up not being worth it with shipping unless that item is particularly expensive. I always try and get multiple things for bundle discounts or even free shipping. Search often and set notifications for high demand items. I really like pieces that look expensive, and I don't like to pay expensive stuff prices for them, so I have a variety of keywords that I search for regularly on secondhand sites that I know will help me narrow down to things I like. My personal list is ornate, embellished, brocade, silk, wool, embroidered, estate sale, closet clean, and statement piece. People that have estate sale or closet clean in the description often have very little emotional attachment and a high motivation to sell fast. If an item is a statement piece and it's on trend, that is liable to drive the price up. However, if a statement piece is not on trend, it can be very difficult to sell. You're looking for a particular sort of customer, so those people may mark down those items a lot. I look at both the cheapest items and the newest items listed in those categories, so I'm seeing both the best deals and also the freshest stock, which can be a good way to see stuff that has been listed quick to move. And just a big pro tip, bridesmaid. A lot of people get dresses that they wear once for a wedding that isn't their aesthetic, that they don't have an emotional tie to, and they just want to get rid of. If you're just looking for base dresses or for expensive fabrics and adornments to repurpose, bridesmaid is a good search. Especially if you're just looking for a simple Greek goddess-style maxi dress. There are usually tons of dresses under there that could be dressed up a lot with accessories. That's everything I have for right now. Like I said, I am going to work on a video on Free People, so let me know if you're interested on that one so I know how much to prioritize it. And if you've made it this far, you must have liked something, so please be sure to like and subscribe.